MultimediaJay RadioStyle. MultimediaJay RadioStyle.
Holy crap, that's not Greymoor. What the heck is this guy doing? What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka Multimedia Jay, with the single biggest change of plans since I ever started doing this streaming stuff. A lot to explain, but first things first, we have some shout-outs, beginning with some offline follows from last time. It's been a while since I streamed. I've been working on some YouTube stuff with YouTube videos, new tech videos and stuff, and eventually some of these sessions where I'm doing YouTube stuff is going to involve production material for streaming, because I've made the decision. We'll talk about this later during the audio open lines tonight. We'll talk about this if I don't talk about something else. Maybe I have to write things down. Maybe I should write this down so I don't forget. But so I want to take my involvement with Twitch and streaming in a different direction than what a lot of the streamers do on here. I mean, it was cool to get my feet wet doing something similar to some of the big streamers like S-Fan and Asmongold and Trainwrecks and stuff like that. However, well, there goes the wrist rest for my keyboard because it's magnetic. Whatever. Anyways, so it was fun to start out doing that. But you can't really make any kind of compelling show on any of these platforms. Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, anywhere you go, if all you are is just a crappier version of someone else. What makes anybody into anything, anywhere on any of this, is concentrated coolness. What exactly is the reason why people should have anything to do with you whatsoever? Why should they watch your stream instead of someone else's stream? Why should they watch your YouTube videos instead of someone else's YouTube videos? Why should they even bother? And remember, there's a war on out there, son. Well, not really, but in a sense. So, people have limited free time. And they, by what they choose to entertain themselves with, choose who is worthy of their free time. So, it might as well be you. The question is, how do we get there? So, glad to give some shout-outs to Real Dane Berryman and ISO Leaf for following the channel while we were offline. Thank you for the follows, everybody, and for anyone who tunes in tonight. Oh, man, let me tell you, some people are going to accuse me of doing a bait and switch because I should be playing Greymoor right now. ESO Greymoor launched today. Well, technically yesterday, now that it's after midnight. I am a man of the night. Yes, indeed. So, ESO Greymoor launched, and I was all ready to go. And I had my character raring to go when I got home from work at my night shift job. I get home, and I see this. Queues! For the first time ever. What game is this again? ZeniMax, get your stuff together. I have never had problems with queues in Elder Scrolls Online before. Never. And you know what, ZeniMax? I am not, nor am I ever going to tolerate queues of any kind in Elder Scrolls Online. It's not the history that I have with this game, ZeniMax. By the way, if you hear any background noise, I am testing regular noise gating tonight versus RTX audio, now that I've upgraded to an RTX graphics card. We will be doing some experimenting with that, with streaming and whatnot, to see if we can noise gate away the sounds of fans and air conditioners during the summertime without me sounding like I'm underwater. So we'll play around with that technology, and apologies if either I sound weird or you hear a fan going, because it is. We got some hazy, hot, and humid stuff going on after this Memorial Day weekend. So, all right, let's talk about ZeniMax, and let's talk about the queues. The queues are a problem because I came to ESO from World of Warcraft, where I put up with server queues for years. And this is a login queue, but the thing is, Elder Scrolls Online has newer infrastructure than WoW. WoW still has servers and all the baggage that discrete servers bring with them. ESO has mega servers, scalable shards of whatever they run it off of, but it's just one realm with some layering and stuff like that. But it's one realm for North America, and it's one realm for the EU. So a lot of the baggage associated with server queues just isn't a thing with servers, just isn't a thing with ESO. And the thing is, when it comes to server queue or login queues in this case, I'm trying to get this right here. When it comes to login queues and whatnot, this is my first ever experience with queues in Elder Scrolls Online. In nearly 5 years of playing this game, I've had this screen before and I was like, oh crap, queue, but it turned out to be wrong, and it turned out to just be something that was only a couple of seconds. But to come home from work and get a half-hour queue and then screenshot it after taking a shower and see 22-minute queues, that's just completely unacceptable for one very simple reason. I say all kinds of nice things about this game. I believe that it's an underdog MMO and it needs more good publicity. And when I start playing in the Tamriel Unlimited, yeah, when I start playing during one Tamriel, that's what it was, the one Tamriel patch, where Elder Scrolls Online stopped resembling a World of Warcraft knockoff with ESO paint or with Elder Scrolls paint on it. When I start playing in one Tamriel, and I don't have a problem with queues, then ESO Morrowind comes out, and I don't have a problem with queues. Then ESO Somerset comes out, no problems with queues. ESO Elsewhere comes out, no problems with queues. And then Greymoor. Look, there is no way that the operations team at ZeniMax Online couldn't have seen this coming. How many commentators out there are referring to the launch of Greymoor as ZeniMax Online playing the Skyrim card, just like what happened with Morrowind? How much of that chit chat has been going around about the launch of Greymoor, which there was already Eastmarch in the game when ESO first launched. But this adds the area around Morthal and the area around Solitude. So it adds more of Skyrim to the game, as well as Blackreach, as well as improvements to vampires, and other stuff like that. By the way, folks, always have your cold ones ready when listening to this podcast or what have you. Kind of what I'm known for. By the way, for those of you that are wondering, this is a Contigo metal water bottle, insulated. So this can sit somewhere for hours and it'll still be cold. I can put ice in it, come back the next day, it'll still have ice. So it looks stupid when I drink the thing, but it's very highly practical. But it's, as opposed to having a drink in a big like beer mug or something and have it get warm after we've been podcasting for an hour. So yeah. So yes, I'm referring to this as World of ESOcraft Warlords of Greymoor, because this kind of nonsense reminds me a lot of the Warlords of Draenor launch, or Draenor if you want to call it that. The Warlords launch in World of Warcraft when the servers just choked hard. 2,000 plus people queues and stuff. And the thing is, I've considered server queues to be the bane of MMOs for years. Absolutely ridiculous. It is absolutely nuts that it's absolutely nuts that this technology is even still a thing. I mean, how long have people put up with queues in World of Warcraft and whatnot? We really can't figure this out 15 years later. And then I see this in ESO for the first time in several launches of expansion packs for ESO. This is when I encounter the queues. Are you kidding me? Doubly insulting is that I left work early to come home and play this game. And I might sound a little rough because I just had a pizza. That's right. I left money on the table to come home and play this thing. And I went and got a pizza on a Tuesday, however little sense that makes. Is it Wednesday now? Yes. Well, technically now it's Wednesday. Ooh, watch the boom. I went out and got a pizza even on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, not even a special day of the week. Like what, election day pizza? It just, and then I see this. Okay, ZeniMax, what were you thinking? What failure looks like in ESO. ESO Morrowind, no issues. ESO Somerset, no issues. ESO Elsewhere. ESO Greymoor queues. ZeniMax, never settle for this, ever. You have mega servers. This should never happen. There is some good news in the mix in the middle of all of this. And that is that the operations team is taking the servers offline. They're taking the servers offline at 4 a.m. Oh, do we suddenly need an emergency maintenance? Gee, I wonder why. Oh, man. This launch is straight out of the Warlords of Draenor launch, as far as I'm concerned. The queues drove me nuts then, they drive me nuts now. And quite frankly, ESO should be better than this. So, if we head back, and we get away from my web browser for a second here, I only have one thing to say when it comes to all of this for ZeniMax. ZeniMax Online, I will not, and I will never put up with server queues in Elder Scrolls Online. Not now, not ever. If there are queues, I don't play. Because if you're not any better than World of Warcraft, then what on earth am I doing here when I get put up with the same crap from Blizzard? You know, or Square Enix with Final Fantasy XIV. I actually have a copy of Shadowbringers completely untouched. I pre-ordered it, and then I was playing other games when it came out. So I could go over to that, cancel my ESO Plus subscription for the first time in years, go play another game, and then come back when things settle down. But no. This is just unacceptable. And this should go down as exactly what a failed launch looks like for this game. And here's the thing. It's not an isolated incident. I wish I could say that the only problem I have with Greymoor tonight is that I wasn't able to play it without sitting through a queue when I got home. And now, of course, you get the servers going down, so some of the streamers like Vindalia, who usually streams late night to sunrise, now she's up against a hard cap, a hard cutoff, when the servers are going to go down for maintenance. If she's late to her own stream, she's basically eating into her own stream time. She's on the schedule for the ESO stream team 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. today. So another Eastern, so another hour or so. Or are those in a different time zone? I have to check. We're going to check that shortly anyways. But no, look. I know for a fact that I have stunted the growth of my own stream on Twitch by having Elder Scrolls Online as my main game. The numbers clearly reflect that ESO is an underdog MMO. I've tried to make videos about ESO and how I like it more so than World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV on YouTube, and they've gotten crap views and dislikes. And sometimes the people going on the disliking sprees dislike the videos so quickly after they post that I know for a fact they're not even watching the video. So, dislike, instant. So, there's people that don't like that I like ESO. There's people that have a problem with me liking ESO. And I very much believe that ESO, in its current state, just like I see in the zone chats again and again and again in various parts of the game, I see over and over and over and over and over again people saying that once they found out about Elder Scrolls Online, they liked it better than World of Warcraft. When the free play events happen and people change MMOs to check out something that's different because they're mad at something Blizzard did or whatever, they come over to Elder Scrolls Online and they're like, I wish I knew about this earlier. This is fun. So ESO is an underdog MMO. Absolutely an underdog MMO. There's a lot of bad publicity about the game. The game had a miserable launch. There have been problems for years with certain parts of the game. However, the team's been working on a lot. It used to be the case that every delve boss and other stuff would get camped by bots all day, every day. You go into a delve and you see everybody camping the boss and wonder how many of them are actually human players. There were the limitations due to the 3 alliances. The game didn't feel like Elder Scrolls as much as World of Warcraft with Elder Scrolls Paint. And of course you have everything that Angry Joe said about it on his review, which is still up on YouTube as a review of ESO, despite the fact that so much of it is completely obsolete and outdated at this point. I dare say ZeniMax should get on the horn with this guy and say, Angry Joe, re-review our game, please, because otherwise what you have on YouTube about how this game was terrible when it first launched is no longer accurate, and you're posting inaccurate information about this game. So, absolutely ridiculous. So the game has a problem. It has a reputation problem because of how bad it was earlier, before these major improvements to the game. It has all kinds of other things where the deck is stacked against it. There's technical issues with the engine. It is not one of the better running games that I play. So, I mean, I just upgraded to RTX and I still can't max the graphics without severe frame drops in towns and stuff. And even though everything, and it's not stressing my graphics card, but at least I have RTX audio to try and experiment with for streaming and recording stuff when there's air conditioners and fans going this summer. So, just ridiculous. And you know what? I really wish that Elder Scrolls Online had only this as its problem. But instead, with it being an underdog MMO, we have this. And I'm going to bring this down to my other monitor so I can read it with you folks. So, get more Greymoor with the Stream Team stream. Okay, nice tongue twister there. So, what's going on is the ESO Stream Team is the ESO Stream Team is the official team on Twitch for Elder Scrolls Online. And here's the issue here. Drops are only available for Stream Team members. So here's the schedule. Gee, I wonder what the Forge Breaker's going to do because the servers are going down for maintenance. But here's the thing. I just got done saying that Elder Scrolls Online is an underdog MMO. They need all the good publicity they can get. Why on earth would they limit the ability to have drops to just the Stream Team? You'd think that a game like ESO that needs to play some catch up with other major MMOs out there, they just say, hey, if you stream it at all, you can get drops or Ouroboros crown crates or something. Or why couldn't they have everybody has drops, but there are better drops if you tune into a Stream Team streamer? Because it's just this launch, all of it. The more I look into what's going on with this launch, the more I realize that no, things could have been much, much better. We have the server queues, or the login queues, excuse me. Same effect as WoW's server queues. You've got the queues, and you have out-and-out favoritism with drops here. And I checked earlier, one of the biggest ESO streamers right now, at only a couple hundred people, that's not big, compared to WoW with its thousands of viewer streamers and stuff like that. Yeah. one of the biggest streamers streaming ESO on launch night, giving it the publicity and exposure that it needs so maybe more people will play this game, is not on the stream team. Therefore, no drops. So, really? What ZeniMax needs to do is realize Elder Scrolls' place in the food chain is not a high one. Matter of fact, let's refresh all categories on Twitch. Here is all categories, high to low. No algorithms, just viewers. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, 132,000 viewers. Just Chatting, 120K. Fortnite, 113 grand. League of Legends, 98 grand. Grand Theft Auto 5, which was a free game on the Epic Game Store last week, 97 grand. Continue on down. Valorant, the bubble has burst. 41,000, just shy of 42,000 viewers. World of Warcraft, yeah, remember that game? 39K. Just put this on screen number. Let's just put this over here. 39K. Hearthstone, the card game, 37 grand. Minecraft, 36 grand. Sea of Thieves, I see Summit playing that a lot, 26 grand. PUBG, 23 grand. Terraria, 22 grand. Overwatch, 18 grand. Super Mario 64, 9.8K viewers, of which 9.2K are Mizkif. Not surprised there, but Super Mario 64. Where is Greymoor? Where's Greymoor? We have to scroll. Where is it? Hold on. Wait a minute. Is it gaining ground somewhere? Old School RuneScape, 9.2K. Where? There we are, finally. Elder Scrolls Online Greymoor, 7.4K viewers. So 7 grand versus World of Warcraft with nothing going on with 40 grand. That's what an underdog MMO looks like. Here's Black Desert Remastered at 3 grand. Where's Final Fantasy on here? Where's Final Fantasy 14? Of course, they don't have much going on right now, and it's a little bit niche compared to that. Final Fantasy. There it is, about 2.9K. So they're doing better than Shadowbringers, but what's going on at all with Shadowbringers? I mean, it's out. Maybe the FF14 community can say a few things about what's going on, but not outside of that. I mean, even Smash Brothers is ahead of that right now in terms of who's streaming what and how much on Twitch. So that's the thing. And if we look at the other games, like World of Warcraft, there's Classic, there's hype for something coming out in Classic, and there's also hype for Shadowbringers. Right now, I mean, Asmongold with his 40 to 50,000, he's constantly looking at new content in the Shadowlands Alpha and stuff like that. So, yes, all these other games have stuff going on. So, WoW has stuff going on multiple fronts. But even if we cut its numbers in half,
the answer is 19.5.
So that's 19.5. Thank you.
You got it.
That's something I do, by the way. Whenever I talk to the Google speakers, I will mute the microphone so I don't trigger other people's smart speakers who are tuning in. Just a common courtesy thing. But yeah, even if we drop those numbers, even if we cut those numbers in half, even if we cut the numbers in half for World of Warcraft to say that Shadowlands hype for modern WoW and classic WoW, we are still ahead of ESO on a launch night. Now, some of this, of course, well, here's the thing. You start thinking about Elder Scrolls Online and 7 grand in viewership. You start thinking about Elder Scrolls Online and 7 grand in viewership and stuff like that. And then you got to start thinking, hold on a second, if people couldn't get into the game, why isn't this number higher? So, but people can't get into ESO. Well, that would drive this number higher. Look, you can't play the game, you might as well watch someone else play it. You can't log in, you might as well watch somebody else log in. And instead, what we have is this. Now let's go viewers high to low. Let's see here. Lucky Ghost is one of my favorite ESO streamers. I know he's on the stream team, so we'll skip him. But this Ninja 614 guy, let's load this up and let's mute the stream here. Okay, this is a drops-enabled stream. That's good. Let's see. T the Khajiit. Is this a stream team person? Yep. Okay, good. There was somebody in here earlier. Who was it? Drakon, 400 something. Different team, nothing for drops. Different team, nothing for drops. That's the thing here. Now, he's broadcasting it in German, but that's it. Star Dancer, ESO Stream Team. Yep, drops enabled. Okay, good. But you see what's going on here? You got these people with similar viewerships to Stream Team members. Why not just let them have drops? Desh, please. The SO of Mr. Lucky Ghost. So, no, she's not Stream Team. Nothing. So, again, come on. ESO, let's back it out. Twitch TV directory, again, viewers, high to low, refresh it. Is it gaining any ground whatsoever? 7.8K. ZeniMax, this is your position within the hierarchy on a launch night. You can't be playing favorites with drops. Yeah, you should be happy that any streamer anywhere is giving your game publicity instead of doing this elitist stuff with the stream team. There is no reason to be doing what you're doing. Never mind the operations thing, ZeniMax. Never mind the operations and the state of everything tonight. Never mind any of that. There is just no reason why you should be any kind of, oh, look, we're just gonna... only stream team members get drops. There is just no excuse whatsoever. Have I made my points clear enough, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 20 minutes or so? I think I have. So, yes, I was looking to play ESO Greymoor tonight, but there's operations issues galore. There's issues with the stream team and everything, like we just said. There's all kinds of stuff. I left work early and picked up a pizza and was going to make it a special night. And now here I am with people. Here I am with the game and queues to get in and stuff like that. I'm just going to do something else, quite frankly. I'm not going to go nuts about this. So, it's not like I'm starving for content either or hurting for content in any way, shape, or form. I've been working on YouTube videos. I actually have a tech video that I need to put together. I need to make a tech video and upload it. I've got everything recorded for it. And then this came in a day early. This is a pound HD link cable for a Super Nintendo. So I want to see if this works in N64. Supposedly it doesn't because of the lack of RGB support on the Nintendo 64, but I have two boxes that will work with SNES and N64. So whichever one works better on both of those, that's what I'm going to use to upconvert my pre-HDMI consoles to HDMI. So we're going to go to some more open discussion and resume the alerts after we take a break with some music from Jingle Punks here on MultimediaJay RadioStyle. All the music tonight, by the way, is YouTube friendly, YouTube audio library. The opener was by Otis McDonald, and then the other stuff is going to be by Jingle Punks. They're a company that makes royalty-free and other kinds of music and stuff, and there was a time when they actually uploaded some full songs to the YouTube audio library, and I happened to download them when they were available. And I've been trying to find a use for these tracks, because they have vocals and everything, and it doesn't jive well as background music in a YouTube video, but in something like this, especially when this is very YouTubeable and can very easily be exported over to YouTube, I think it fits very well for bump music, for opener, be right back, and closer. We will be right back. We'll resume alerts, go to a more open discussion of everything right after this. This is MultimediaJay RadioStyle. Don't touch that dial.
MultimediaJay RadioStyle. MultimediaJay RadioStyle.
Okie dokie, we are back from the break, and I gotta work on that loop a little bit longer here. Welcome to Open Discussion. Alerts are turned back on, and if folks want to chat about stuff, if folks stop by and chat, we'll entertain them a bit, but otherwise, we have some more things to talk about, but more of an open discussion. We're gonna wing things now, and whatever happens, happens. So I had a couple of talking points to get through when it came to the whole issue with the Elder Scrolls Online Greymoor launch. But I wanted to round out tonight's show by talking about some things related to the ongoing competition between Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, and Facebook when it comes to the streaming thing. Excuse me. Beginning with a basic tip for people that want to get into streaming: don't have a huge pizza before you go on the microphone. It might mess with you in the middle of your show. Another good thing is to avoid sugar. Sugar is horrible for anybody that wants to get into anything resembling broadcasting. Sugar is your worst nightmare. It's like dumping sticky sand down your throat and then you strain and just to try and say anything. I'll tell you, man. So right now, let's get into a bit more of an open discussion. So this involvement in Twitch that I have is an extension of my involvement with YouTube, which the channel has actually been, despite the issues with the current pandemic and stuff, despite what's going on with it, the YouTube channel is approaching the $50 a month revenue mark, which will be a milestone because that's a cool number. I mean, anybody who's not super gigantic on YouTube can't be full-time anyway. So at the very least, though, it's fun money, especially when you consider that I can it's a passive income. One of the cool things about YouTube revenue versus even donos and stuff on Twitch is that you're not tied to a specific, or you're not held back by a specific time slot either. So for example, I work nights and stuff. I might play some games in the middle of the night like this, but actually one of the things I'm doing tonight with this, since Greymoor wasn't cooperating tonight, one of the things I'm doing is I want to see what this style and this whole setup is like for talk radio style stuff earlier in the evening on Fridays and Saturdays, which are my off days. So I very much could consider showing up with some tech stuff to talk about or some other stuff to talk about during the show on a Friday or Saturday evening, which is more in primetime type hours and stuff along those lines. And then segments from that can always go over to YouTube as Twitch crossover videos, which my YouTube audience has not responded very well to that whatsoever, but I wanted to change my audience anyways. I want to thank the folks, by the way, who have stumbled across my streams on here and then subbed to me on YouTube, because YouTube has its own internal issues, and I could make a whole show out of why these commentators on Twitch that are saying Twitch streamers should go to YouTube and make YouTube videos. That's how you solve Twitch's problems with discoverability. The answer is no. There's only one thing that's going to solve Twitch's problems with discoverability, and that is Twitch fixing its problems with discoverability. And that this leads into a discussion that is based on an article from Dexerto, Shroud, explaining why Mixer will be successful long-term against Twitch. Now, the main gist of his argument, you can feel free to check out the article on my Twitter at MultimediaJay on Twitter. It's also on Dexerto.com, or just punch this headline into Google and you'll get straight to it. I think, assuming Google is working like it should and whatnot. But the main argument here is, oh yeah, Twitch is the new kid on the block. Mixer's the new kid on the block. That's why Mixer is so small compared to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Well, Facebook's new as well. I remember doing a double take when I first heard about Facebook gaming. When I first heard that Facebook gaming was a thing, I was like, are you kidding me? Facebook gaming? What is that about? Of course, Facebook gaming has been a thing for years, but not in the sense of streaming. I mean, you could technically play Facebook games if you're into Farmville at some point or something along those lines. But yeah, you could definitely say that you were getting into Facebook gaming if you played games while on Facebook. And I'm more than familiar with Farmville, Treasure Island, Zynga games from years gone by that used to be the rage on Facebook. And people would give you a hard time if you weren't playing the point and click games alongside them as well. But I was pretty surprised when Facebook showed up and was getting into the streaming business, because I've never actually been impressed with the quality of Facebook's video. Even gaming footage, I mean, I sometimes can get 1080p 30 if I try, but it's not interesting compared to Twitch and YouTube at this point. But apparently Facebook gaming is growing pretty quickly, because there's been a flip-flop with social media, with some folks going back to Facebook. It wasn't that long ago that Facebook was considered old people's social media, but apparently there's been some demographic shifts in, particularly since the quarantine and some other stuff, and some other things as well, that have led to younger folks going back to Facebook. So it's no longer mommy and daddy social media or something like that. I'd have to do some more digging on that to see where exactly that is coming from. But here's the thing. Shroud can say that Mixer will eventually catch up because Mixer's younger than all these other services, even though Facebook has growth as well when it comes to Facebook gaming. But here's the question I have for every content creator out there. Why should people watch your content? Why you? Why are you special? Because a way to describe being into any of this content creation is that you are fighting against systems and people who will do everything possible to make you feel like you're not special and should not be doing anything. And it's not just the people side of it, the systems as well. Take Twitch and discoverability, that classic issue. Here's the thing. Twitch is infamous for not having discoverability, to the point where tutorial after tutorial after tutorial from content creator after content creator after content creator will tell you to go to YouTube first. Make YouTube videos, because YouTube is a platform where your content is made to be, where that is made to store content. So YouTube will eventually pass your content around via the algorithm, and then you could tell people to come over to Twitch. So that argument is problematic. YouTube has its issues. We all know. Anybody that does anything on YouTube will tell you that YouTube has its issues. However, if YouTube is even moderately successful at beefing up their live streaming and fixing some of the inherent problems with it, like, for example, there's a hidden meta on YouTube among trolls, where if they don't like the fact that you're streaming on YouTube, they do everything possible to bait you, troll you, get you mad, so that they can flag you to get you a community guideline strike, because your first community guideline strike disables your ability to live stream. That cannot be the case if YouTube wants to be taken seriously as a streaming platform. That creates a little mini game where people that don't care and have throwaway sock puppet accounts can try and get you kicked off the live streaming part of YouTube by getting you a strike somehow. So, no, that's one of the inherent problems I have with YouTube streaming, is there's too many connections between streaming and uploads, and YouTube's infinitely better for uploads than it is for streaming. If you ever try streaming on YouTube, stuff that you would previously have done in OBS for something like Twitch, you now have to export to a web browser. So you need both OBS and a web browser open all the time on top of your stream dashboard on Twitch, so your categories will work correctly and stuff like that. And yeah, you got to do all this extra stuff. Mixer as well is short on features versus Twitch. If you stay on Twitch for a decent amount of time, you'll run into some features on Twitch that are not present on Mixer, and you'll be wishing those features were back when you went to Mixer. If you're a streamer like a Shroud or a Ninja, if you're a streamer with a well-established following who isn't doing too much outside of just plain streaming in terms of where they want their support to come from, of course I think they might do merch or something, but if you're not the kind of person who would want to export highlights to YouTube or something like that, and maybe Mixer could work. But from a higher level, the question I have is, why should anybody watch Mixer? Why should anybody go to Mixer? Literally every other major competitor, I don't know if DLive might be part of this too, but we'll just take Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Literally every other major competitor in this market has something else that might be interesting to you besides streaming. Facebook is, of course, Facebook. Yeah, share cat pictures or whatnot with your auntie or whatever. Facebook is like Facebook's family, friends, real names. Aliases are discouraged, things like that. But Facebook for gaming, watching your friend play video games on Facebook instead of going to Twitch. Some people, Twitch has a bit of a brand problem too, with some people out there who think that because of all the "look at me, I'm a pretty girl" streamers, that that Twitch is like a softcore "look at me, I'm a pretty girl" site, if you know what I mean. But I know some people that refuse to ever come to Twitch, no matter who it is. Even if it's me, even if it's anybody they know, they will never watch Twitch because of the whole thing with the "look at me, I'm a pretty girl" streamers and all the stuff that's going on with them. So, because of all the IRL and some of the other stuff that is a descendant of the reply girls on YouTube, by the way, nothing new and exciting. But just because of that alone, there's people that will not come to Twitch. There's quite simply a brand problem there. But anyways, let's talk about Twitch while we're at it. We talked about YouTube. We talked about Facebook. Facebook has, of course, Facebook. YouTube has YouTube. It has videos. You can look around at videos and stuff when you're sick of watching someone stream and stuff like that. There's also a far more robust support for your content being visible to others. So if you do stuff that's not so time sensitive as a way of introducing yourself to a potential audience, you will be more successful with that on YouTube than you would on Twitch, because Twitch inherently is more volatile. There are more issues with content disappearing, especially if you get disciplinary action on your account. So there's more of that going on. And so long as it continues to go on, I don't think Twitch is ever going to be Amazon Tube, as I'd like to call it. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But at least Twitch has the integration with Amazon. The easy way to support your streamers through Twitch Prime, linking to Amazon Prime. The Amazon features, I think, are a lot of what makes Twitch compelling these days versus Mixer and whatnot. Otherwise, I think there'd be more of an even playing field there. So, Facebook has the Facebook stuff. YouTube has the YouTube stuff. Twitch has the Amazon stuff. What does Mixer have? I've seen the selling points of Mixer. When it first launched and it tried to take market share from Twitch. It's been moderately successful-ish in getting a piece of that pie. However, not even close to any kind of runaway success. But the big thing with Mixer is that the tail wagging the dog thing just didn't work. The tail wagging the dog thing didn't work with Mixer. So, it's the established competitors just reacted to the new ideas like low latency. Oh, Mixer, low latency. Yay. Okay. So now the other platforms have lower latency. Higher quality 60 FPS. Oh, the other platforms are improving their offerings as well. See, that's the problem with trying to be the tail that wags the dog in an industry like that. You can go into that market and you can have legitimately innovative ideas, but don't assume that the incumbents are just going to sit there and let you innovate them away. What happens if the competitors respond, or they try and come up with ideas on their own, or they offer flat up to buy your ideas or whatnot? Are you going to sell the company to them? Things along those lines. Another example I can think of for this is Tesla. I remember when the Tesla Roadster first made the news. An electric Lotus. Electric cars up to that point were little nerdmobiles, little egg-shaped, crappy nerdmobiles. Very experimental in nature. Terrible range. Not interesting. Then there was the Prius and all that other stuff. Not very interesting cars. Then Tesla comes along. The Roadster. Sports car. Fast. Powerful. Much higher range than the competing electric cars. Tesla has to price high to recoup R&D costs, which is common in business. That's what price skimming is, by the way. You release something with a higher price and then drop the price down once you've recouped your R&D costs and the technology's older. A lot of tech stuff uses that. That's why oftentimes I'll buy the second or third best technology instead of the best, because the best technology commands a hefty premium, and then it becomes second or third best shortly thereafter anyways when the next big thing comes out, so you might as well not even do it. So anyways, Tesla, nice cars. The Roadster was cool, then came the Model this and the Model that. They went from making a Lotus to a Mercedes, and then a Lotus type car to a Mercedes type car, and they've been bringing down the prices. Now there's secondhand Teslas out there here and there. You'll see Teslas in places besides where the richest of the rich live. And Tesla has been pretty successful. However, electric cars have shown up from the major automakers that aren't total trash. The Prius was already pretty utilitarian in that respect, but you're seeing electric cars from Ford, you're seeing electric cars from Chevy, you're seeing folks wanting to make electric big rigs and electric trucks, electric pickup trucks. The bottom line is the incumbents do not sit around when someone innovative shows up. There will be competition, there will be a response, there will be some kind of something or another. You can't always be the tail that wags the dog just because when you get into the market, you want to innovate and the incumbents don't. So, and that's what you think. You get into the market and the incumbents, are they going to respond? Are they not going to respond? That kind of thing. So, yeah, you get into it and yeah, the tail wagging the dog doesn't quite work now, does it? So that's the thing. You always have to be ready for what happens when the incumbents respond. So Mixer came in with some innovative ideas that Twitch and YouTube weren't doing. Now they're doing it. So now what? What's the tie-in? There's a potential tie-in with the Xbox Series X on Mixer. What's the tie-in with Mixer? What's the compelling answer to YouTube's Google features and videos, Facebook's Facebook features, and Twitch's Amazon features? What exactly is the nice, wonderful thing about Mixer? Why should I go over there? How is Mixer not the Internet Explorer of streaming platforms at this point? How is Mixer not the Internet Explorer of streaming platforms? How? Why should anybody watch Mixer? You see the pie charts for the market share, and you see Facebook growing, you see Twitch holding its own, you see YouTube holding its own, and you see itty bitty Mixer. And Mixer's light blue, Facebook is dark blue. Sometimes you might mix them up by mistake, but Mixer's in there and there is growth, but they're itty bitty compared to... Yeah, and here's the interesting part about Mixer. If you poke around Mixer, you'll find folks streaming raw gaming footage off of Xboxes because of integration with the Xbox Live dashboard and stuff like that. So, got an air bubble in that one. So, you watch Mixer, you'll see folks streaming just raw gaming footage from you'll see them just streaming raw gaming footage from their console. It'd be kind of like if I did this. Hey everybody, webcam, I'm on Twitch, I'm streaming, is anybody gonna watch me? Hello, I'm streaming, everyone come over and watch, and give me donos and pay my rent. No! You have to build something. You can't just do what everybody else is doing, because then you're just like everybody else. You gotta try and do stuff, and you gotta try and constantly improve on things. So you can't just do what everybody else is doing, because if they have the experience and you don't, you will have succeeded in making yourself into a crappier version of everybody else. And this is where we're going to get back, and we're going to conclude this discussion in the last 10 minutes of the show-ish, and we're going to talk about what I'm doing here with all of this. So, when I first came over to Twitch, I was like, I don't know how to do anything. Complete rookie, complete newbie. Barely knew my way around OBS. And over the last several weeks, I've become familiar with, for example, the compressor and the noise gate and stuff that I thought I was going to have to buy equipment for just to have in podcasts like this. I started thinking about music and graphics, and in this case, with MultimediaJay RadioStyle graphics like this, using PowerPoint to generate graphics instead of a video editor and stuff. Make more professional looking graphics with PowerPoint templates and stuff. I did, however, send this picture through several Picasa filters and then tinted it blue of these sliders on a mixer board. So, to create basically the Twitch successor of the podcast series that I had on YouTube when I had crappier internet. So the original MultimediaJay RadioStyle was just some podcasty things I was doing where I would actually drop everything down to 240p, just do audio 240p and then put a picture on it. Similar to if you watch a music channel on cable where it's just a graphic of the title of the song, the artist, the record company, etc., things along those lines. So you have this going on. And so I came over, I had this going on, and you know what? I really think that some of the streamers on here that have some of the more standardized formats, like recap, for example, I think they're in denial. I think some of the big streamers that do recap are in denial that there's an audience out there that will watch them just to hear their opinions on something. They may not be interested in the video games they're going to play. They may not be interested in anything that they're doing. But if they're chiming in on something on LSF or something like that, then yeah, they're interested. And if there's a controversial issue, they want to hear their opinion or something. It's just like the reason why people listen to talk radio in the first place, even if they don't agree with somebody. It's absolutely the case with that. So that's the issue here. That's the issue here with all of this as well. So I first came here. Actually, no, let's back up a bit here. The big streamers will recap. I think the people that do recap could have a transition or something to differentiate the talk radio part of their shows from the playing video games and stuff. Because let's face it, streaming games on Twitch, yeah, a lot of people do that. It's nothing too special. And many times when a lot of these streamers actually start playing a game, you see their concurrent viewers plummet, sometimes to the tune of thousands, because once you're streaming a game, you're talking about needing several criteria in order to be interesting to others. Not only do they have to be, they're either interested in you or they're interested in the game. So if you haven't done a good enough job getting them interested in you specifically, everything depends on whether or not they're interested in your game. It's just the way it is. Take Ginny TTY, for example. She's an incredible IRL streamer over in Korea. Now, and one of the things I like about these Korean IRL streamers, after learning about them through the whole thing with Ginny and S-Fan, it's kind of cool to see how over there, how things work over there versus how things work over here. You know, there's Western influence, but over there, they put their own local spin on it. So you'll see a mukbang or whatever it's called, one of those streams where they're eating something and you're on the other side of, or you, the camera, is on the other side of the table. And you see they have metal chopsticks and they cut food with scissors instead of knives. You're like, well, you know what? It is different, but it's something that makes perfect sense. I mean, I've heard people that try to show me how to use chopsticks saying it's like two long fingers. And you think about it, you put a big thing of food in front of you, you and your guests. And you take a little of this, you take a little of that, little rice, little vegetables, little this, and in it goes. Might be a way of, you know, not wolfing food down as well if you eat stuff with chopsticks. Because the time it takes to eat maybe a smaller portion is less, so you don't feel like you barely got to eat anything if you eat with chopsticks as opposed to wolfing things down with a fork or something. I don't know. I was watching something the other day, but here's the thing with Ginny. A lot of what makes her cool versus just another person streaming games on Twitch is the little things she does. Her chipper personality, the kamsahamnida, thank you, shishi, every time someone does some kind of dono. By the way, that's thank you in 3 different languages. Kamsahamnida is Korean, thank you is, of course, English, and shishi is Chinese. She studies Chinese as well, so she's trying to learn a couple different languages. But here's the thing. What makes her special? The little things she does. Not just that, but also going around, seeing what's going on with her family or cats around her house, wherever she's traveling, how things are in Korea, things along those lines. And then you switch over. This is one of the situations I ran into with her earlier. You switch over to the video games, and she's playing some Harry Potter game. I've never been a big fan of Harry Potter. Never got into it. I'm more likely to nerd out on Lord of the Rings or something like that. But an old PS2 looking game about Harry Potter, and every single time you push the attack button, Harry Potter says something over and over again. I mean, you know, yeah, the auditory chanting of spells has been in RPGs before, but you'll notice that with World of Warcraft and games, Guild Wars and games since, say, the original Neverwinter Nights, Obi Dive, Medua, Balkat, or something like that. Yes, I still have that memorized. Oh, Hammer of the Gods. For those of you that played Clerics. Ipu, Saleno, Samatska! Yes, I have that memorized too. But the thing is, the reason I'll bet why you don't see casters in RPGs doing that anymore is because of how annoying it gets when you hear the same thing over and over again. So, Neverwinter Nights did get a little annoying. Then I go to Guild Wars and the Elementalist casting the Firestorms just does a dance and makes noise. So, uh-oh, there goes the internet. We had an internet outage around this time about 7 or 8 days ago. I hope the equipment stays working this time. Ah, yes, but indeed. But yeah, I see her play this Harry Potter game, and it reminds me of Neverwinter Nights, so it gets annoying pretty quickly, and holy crap, what is going on with this internet now? Yellows and reds. How much lag is there, folks? Oh, there we go, finally. Whatever, man. Actually, wait, I got a preview of it on screen number 2. I can see when that happens. So yeah, that's the situation with that. So she goes from all the stuff that makes her cool to playing some Harry Potter game that annoys me the same way Neverwinter Nights did to some extent. Of course, I didn't know any better back then because, no, I only played Morrowind and JRPGs. So once I got into some games that came out afterwards that didn't do that with the spell casting anymore, I was like, oh, yeah. So, but that's the thing. That's the part where you see her go from 5,000 viewers, 6,000, 7,000 viewers down to like 2,000 something. And that's the thing. If people don't like you specifically enough to be anything special, then it 100% depends upon the game that it is that you're playing. So, where do we get from this? Maybe I should take notes as I talk about this kind of stuff. But that's the thing. You gotta be special. There's gotta be some coolness to what it is that you do if you want to have any kind of audience on any of these platforms. So getting back to the point with Shroud and Mixer is not going to grow just because it's around for a certain period of time. There needs to be compelling reasons for people to watch Mixer instead of watching Twitch or YouTube or Facebook gaming. So Mixer needs some concentrated coolness. And right now, quite frankly, it doesn't have that. It's just a streaming site. And you know what? Let's take this a step further. Streaming needs some concentrated coolness because otherwise the streaming bubble is going to burst once YouTube gets its act together. There's some things that I believe YouTube could do. There are some things that I believe YouTube could do right now that would crush the streaming platforms tomorrow. For one thing, why do people stream instead of making YouTube videos? You can make money off of YouTube videos. Ad revenue. Yes, there's idiots out there using ad blockers and killing the platform for some people, but YouTube should be more compelling. Oh, I make more money on Twitch. Well, YouTube is a passive income. Your content can get passed around by the algorithms and people can watch it and not block the ads, and you'll make money by doing nothing, essentially. As opposed to streamers and everything they have to do, broadcast at a certain time. Do this in the stream. Do that in the stream. Don't do this in the stream. Don't do that in the stream. YouTube should be infinitely more compelling than any streaming platform out there, but it's not. Why? I think the money has something to do with it. Because if you have a big audience that's throwing donos your way and tips all over the place and cheering bits and stuff like that, you know, you've got all these things, all this money coming in, just put on a good show and people respond and they love being in the community and they love, you know, tuning into your show every single day or whatever. You know, then there's Twitch Prime, which I think is part of the equation as well. But there's just more ways to make money on these platforms than there is on YouTube. YouTube, you have ad revenue. Unless you stream, then you have supers like Super Chat and Super Stickers. And quite frankly, I'm waiting for somebody to make fun of somebody who's streaming on YouTube. They do a Super Chat or a Super Sticker. Thanks for the Super Chat. Oh, Twitch ripoff. As opposed to, thank you for the 200 bits. Come sum it up. Oh, wait, wrong streamer. So, yeah, it's just, I'm waiting for someone on YouTube to make fun of a YouTube streamer for, thank you for the Super Chat or the Super Sticker. So, but here's the thing. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again many times as I need to. YouTube just needs a tip function for videos. And you know what? They already have this with the live stream side of everything. With the supers, super chat, super stickers. They have that. And you know what? Tipping on videos is something that some of YouTube's recent attempts at competition have had. Some of the recent attempts to compete with YouTube, like VidMe, I believe, had a tipping function. You could tip the creator directly if you liked the video. So yeah, there isn't the community aspect or the I was there live aspect, but there is still the ability for people to tip the creator if they're entertained by something. That's what's missing. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what's missing from the upload ecosystem. Now imagine, if you will, an environment where YouTube figures this out, uses a little bit of gray matter, and is like, oh yeah, why aren't we doing that? They add a direct tipping function. They have the join button, which is kind of like Twitch's subscribe button for larger YouTube channels. But imagine if they took that a step further and allowed tipping. Or they rolled out a system similar to bits, where you bought bits and then you cheered a certain amount as a way of indirectly tipping a YouTuber when you watch a video. Once some of those monetizations get into the system with uploads, that takes away some of the allure of streaming and levels the playing field. And then think about it. If uploads and streaming were similar to one another in terms of monetization and revenue potential, how many streamers would be willing to take a little hit to their income to not be chained to a webcam, or to be able to have content going while they take a break from streaming? Because streaming is so far ahead of monetization of the passive incomes on YouTube with ad revenue that some of them feel like they can't even take vacations because it'll kill their stream. So, and now you've got this safety council from Twitch or whatever it is talking about work-life balance. Everybody's talking about what's her face, the deer lady, or the other stuff, or what this is going to do or not do. But what I don't hear people talking about is that one of the topics that the safety council or whatever it is talking about is work-life balance on Twitch. Sounds very corporate. Sounds exactly like the sort of like something HR would have in a slide deck somewhere. Everyone come into the meeting. We're going to talk about work-life balance, the latest initiatives, and how the company is helping you out, like flex time and stuff like that. Blah, 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 blah. You know? So, YouTube... Oh, man. Imagine, though, if the playing field was leveled in that respect. Yeah, there would still be the benefit of being in a streaming thing at a live event. But if streamers could feel less chained to the streaming platforms because uploads on YouTube gets better, that would be interesting. And that's why, as we wrap things up, I want to say that if Twitch knows what's good for them, they will fix this problem with discoverability. Because let's suppose YouTube gets their act together. Then they have more competition. They have to do something then. But even if they don't, what I said earlier about why should people watch your stream applies here in droves. So, Twitch has a discoverability problem. There isn't enough algorithms, and the folks on top just dominate everything. Like that joke I made earlier about nine grand and change watching Mario 64. 9 grand of that is Mizkif. So, and I have gotten the impression from some of these bigger streamers that the Austin crowd kind of scratches each other's back. And then sometimes they tend to stagnate a little in content, or even just their schedules. Afternoon, evening streamers turn into overnight, into the morning streamers, and they screw up their sleep schedule, which hurts their stream, and then they screw up you, the audience's sleep schedule. If you stay up and you want to watch everything to the end, you're staying up later and later. Their sleep schedule's getting screwed up. Your sleep schedule's getting screwed up. You just keep on keeping on and stuff like that. But what's ever going to change, though? Because whoever's the biggest gets the most views and has the most visibility. The little guy with the better ideas or the better uses of the audience's time, like my compact 1 hour-ish discussion that I'm having tonight, nowhere. No visibility, no support, nothing. There is a recommended smaller communities when you get up to about 30 viewers. But how do you even get to that step? Yeah, it's barriers to entry. Really awful stuff. So let's take this to its logical conclusion. New people with better ideas, or maybe people that are hungry to do well, don't get an audience. And the same old 3 or 4 streamers who dominate everything just coast, and they eventually get a little bit stagnant or a little complacent. What do you think happens to the audience when the attrition starts? People start tuning out. They start not watching. And eventually the viewership starts to drop. So if YouTube's competition, if they got their act together, doesn't make these streaming platforms do an about face, the gradual attrition and deterioration of the audience will do precisely that when the numbers start to drop overall. And right now, there's a bit of a bubble on Twitch specifically as IRL grows and gaming streaming declines. You look at number of streamers versus number of viewers for these categories, and obviously IRL is getting boosted. What if that wasn't the case? What if that wasn't the case? What would be happening to the platform? Some stuff to think about. But I can definitely say that it's not if but when this streaming bubble bursts. And then what's the plan? So yes, if Twitch wants to head off disaster, they will solve their discoverability problems. Otherwise, it's a train headed for the side of a cliff, heading for a giant rock. Boom! At some point, something happens, and they have to make those changes. The question is when it's going to happen. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.
257. MultimediaJay RadioStyle.
Say you should hear it. Oh, I'm happy to make time for your feelings, but you have to admit I already do. Let's just break it down to you and me uptown, dancing all around till the disco ball pops. But I have to be me, and everyone can see your anger is misplaced, and I'm gonna tell you. I get attention. Don't turn me into what I'm not. I have to be me 24/7, and I ain't never gonna stop. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. No. And I ain't never gonna stop. Come on, listen to me. I've tried so many times to tell you this is as good as I can be. Why isn't it enough to be faithful and also be the hit of the party? Let's just break it down to you and me uptown, dancing all around till the disco ball pops. But I have to be me, and everyone can see